We are now crossing the main city bridge over the River Ness, where many of our quality restaurants are situated. On your right, the Highland House of Fraser, the only kilt-making exhibition in Scotland, and makers of bespoke hand-sewn kilts for over 50 years. With thousands of tartans to choose from, there's sure to be a kilt here for anybody wishing to wear Highland dress.
I've just come down from the eye in the sky. I'm so very big and the box is shy and the mass is shook. When I go by head down all which the trousers, they're going low high and they're going light. It is not long, I know it's right. How the folks would get a fright if they saw me wearing trousers. They're going low high and they're going low through the streets of Middleton and low. All the lasses say hello, get off with your trousers.
On your left, across the river, is Ness Bank Church, and recently installed are the statues of the three Graces, Faith, Hope and Charity, sculpted in 1870. These statues used to stand on top of a building on the site now occupied by the city's McDonald's restaurant. On your right is St Andrew's Cathedral. Designed by Alexander Ross in 1869, it is open all year to visitors. The new organ, the stained glass, the paintings and the carvings make it worth a visit. And this is now stop number 2, Bishop's Road, St Andrew's Cathedral. Eden Court Theatre, on your right hand side, was opened in April 1976. It is situated in the grounds of what had been the official residence of the Bishops of Moray. As we turn into the Bacht Road, please be aware of the speed bumps along this road. The footbridge on the left is known as the Infirmary Suspension Bridge of 1881, but it is locally known as that's why we call it the Bouncy Bridge. And built around 1800, it's a 3-storied main block and 2 lower wings. And the main building is now the headquarters of the University of the Highlands and Islands Millennium Institute.
right is Buck Park. This is where we have many of our sporting activities. We play football, American football, and a game unique to the Highlands, shinty. This is a hockey game but played in the air. Very dangerous, very violent, and very popular in this area. It is also very similar to the other Celtic game, hurling.
On your left is our Ness Island, situated in the River Ness, all interconnected by walkways and bridges, and part of the Islands Walk, a peaceful and pretty walk around the city. On your right is the Highlands to come to record a hatch, match or dispatch, or if you have any connections with Scotland. Maybe you have ancestors or historical records of family tombstones. Come to this building and speak to a live genealogist, or go online and find out about your connections to Scotland, and it's all absolutely free. On your left is Wynn Park for the children, with its boating pond, play area, sweetie shop, even a train. And this is now stop number 3, Bacht Road, Wynn Park.
On your right is the Inverness ice rink, open to the public. You can watch ice skate.
On your right,
No.
a traditional game here, as Scotland is one of the top rugby union teams in the world. On your right is the Floral Hall, a fantastic place for all botanists and gardeners of cacti. Plus, of course, plants indoors and outdoors, water features, waterfalls, koi carp, sticky insects and reptiles, and a very nice coffee shop. In front of us is the Leisure Centre and Aquadome. Open to the public, you can swim, use the gym and indoor sports equipment, health suite spa, climbing wall and running track. And this is now stop number 4, Inverness Leisure Centre, Buck Lane.
Open to the public. You can watch ice skating, ice hockey and curling. Curling is thought to have been invented in medieval Scotland, with it open from Easter to the end of September. Directly ahead of us is Thunderwood Hill. This is the Caledonian Canal.
Now is the most important engineering project ever undertaken in this part of the Highlands in the last 200 years. As we cross the canal, you see it stretching out. In fact, it stretches out from Inverness to Fort William. Built by Thomas Telford and opened in 1822, it connects the North Sea in the east to the Atlantic Ocean in the west, cutting right through the middle of our country. The canal joins up 5 lochs. Loch, of course, is a Scots word, a Gaelic word for a body of water. The English say lakes, and the Scots, we say lochs. The Caledonian Canal is 60 miles long, has 29 lochs on it, including the famous Neptune staircase of 8 lochs down to Fort William. We are now driving through Tourvane Golf Club, a game that Scotland invented and exports all over the world. They say that every Scots child can play golf by the age of 8, which is probably why we have so many golf courses in our country. Also on your left is the headquarters of the Scottish Natural Heritage, especially its natural, genetic and scenic diversity. It advises the Scottish Government, and Scottish ministers decided to transfer SNH's headquarters from Edinburgh to Inverness in 2004. This road is called General Booth Road, named after General William Booth of the Salvation Army, who came up to Inverness on one of his visits in the early 1900s. To the left is Muirtown Basin, and beyond that the Merkinch Nature Reserve, a series of 5 locks which raise or lower ships 16 metres, 52 feet, and this brings us over the Swing Bridge, one of 7 road crossings of the Caledonian Canal, and into Telford Street, so named after the canal's designer Thomas Telford. And this is stop number 6, Telford Street. He also designed over 1,000
On our right, great views of our elegant city, and directly below us the Friar's Shop Fishing Cove from the 1950s. On our left, the Black Bridge of 1896, and just beyond it, the new railway bridge. The original was washed away after our most recent great flood of 1989. The airport, it goes all over Europe, and some as far away as Istanbul.
on the site of a medieval priory of the Franciscan order, probably called the Chapel of the Blessed Virgin Mary, but experts disagree. In common with a lot of Scottish cemeteries with graves dating from the 18th century, the stones have figures of skulls and crossbones, spades and shovels and hourglasses, which are to remind you that your time will come. It is also where many famous local families and clans are buried. The bookshop. The 3-storey building on your left is Dunbar's Hospital, built in 1668 from the stone of Oliver Cromwell's dismantled citadel, now a shop and cafe. The next building on the left is Bow Court, probably dating from the early 18th century, and the building was restored as flats in 1972. On the right, just before the Hootenanny Bar, an excellent place for Scottish entertainment, is Abertarf House. Built in 1593, this is one of the oldest houses in Inverness, a fine example of domestic architecture of the 16th and 17th century, and contains a turnpike staircase. And this is stop number 7, Queensgate, Post Office, an ideal place for the Victorian market and the shops in the city centre. Style Inverness Library, built in 1841, founded by Dr. Andrew Bell. And this is stop number 8, Station and City Library. Fish, meat and vegetable market. At the turn of the century, in the main hall, they even had a circus. But now, there are 49 unique and independent small businesses, and this is now stop number 9, Union Street.
Distance, been with us. Inverness means at the mouth of the River Ness. Inver and Ava are old Scots words from Gaelic, both used to mean at the mouth of. The River Ness is also one of the shortest rivers in Europe, and at 7 miles long is really the overflow from Loch Ness and tributaries. Not very deep, but a very fast-flowing river, and not one to fall into. Full of fish, salmon, trout and eels. You can buy a fishing permit from a shop near the castle and try your luck at catching your supper. This Ness Bridge, a 3-arched concrete structure, replaced a lovely single-arch suspension bridge that was designed by J.M. Rendell in 1850. That replaced a 6-arched stone structure built in the 17th century, but washed away by the Great Flood of 1849. It housed the town jail between the 2nd and 3rd arches. The prisoners didn't like it, that they got their feet wet at high tide.
This is stop number 10, Gellan's Hotel, Bridge Street. Impressive and historic buildings built between 1878 and 1882. The townhouse includes many artworks and historic features. In September 1921, it was the scene of a historic emergency meeting of the British Cabinet, the only cabinet meeting of the British government ever held outside London.
Castle Street. This was originally called Doomsdale, as this was the walk made to the Hill of the Heads. That is where our Keen Tower, the large house with the observatory, is now. This was the scene of beheadings and hangings.
The red sandstone war memorial commemorates the dead of the two world wars. World War I had a devastating impact upon the Highlands, which sustained one of the highest per capita casualty rates in Europe. 1 in 7 men in Inverness died in the conflict. Coming up on our left, Belfield Park with putting green, tennis courts and children's play area. This is stop number 11, Hock Road, Belfield Park. The Aircrew Memorial Bandstand is of particular interest with the windsock weather vane. The bandstand lived along the line of a road built by General George Wade in 1726. Wade, an Irishman, who had an outstanding military just 6 years.
Many famous travellers have followed this route, Boyers, Bores and mossy floods, and is still well worth a visit today if time permits.
With steadfast inside and experience what life used to be like in the Highlands, uncovering the story of Dartmouth and visit the Highland Life weaving exhibition. See the early mechanised weaving machines and listen as the Dartmouth story is told. In the clan tartan section, you can explore the origins of the Scottish clans and tartan, with a selection of holiday mementos, ladies and men's clothing, jewellery, food and whisky, Scottish music, books and DVDs. And if you fancy a snack,
We have had many fine views of Inverness Castle, which dominates the centre of the city of Inverness. The castle comprises of 2 buildings in red sandstone, which was completed in 1836 to a design by architect William Byrne. A succession of castles have stood on this site since 1057. The first was partially destroyed